provide a link to their municipalmeeting.com files, and of course our name would pop up there. Our residents can click on that and then see the video. So I think that's a cool feature. However, they'll keep that for only 1 year.
Yeah.
Now they will give us a DVD as well that we can keep in our files forever.
I didn't want to make you go through all the details. I was just pointing out that there could be other costs besides those that we've discussed here.
Larry Cohen, Mine Hill Road. Terry, I do it for a lot less.
I'm sorry I didn't ask you for a proposal.
Warren, you want to come up here so she can hear your name?
Warren Davis, Fulton Road. One question. It's uploaded to their website, but later we're not talking about live streaming, or are we?
No, this is not live streaming. Well, this would have to be. You're going to have a final product. You're going to.
And they'll upload it within a certain amount of time.
Precisely within
Okay.
48 hours,
Okay.
and then it'll be available.
My other question is, both of the contracts that you described, we have to commit to a finite number of meetings, and we don't know how many meetings we're going to have a month anymore. How do we deal with that?
But we'd have to figure that out. That you're quite right. That's a variable, and we'd have to work with them on that one. Yes.
Dan Orff, Kratz Road.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Dan Orff, O-R-F-E, 6 Kratz Road. Did they offer, as part of it, most of these companies provide what's called tagging service, meaning instead of it just being a 4-hour or 3-hour or 2-hour chunk of time, when you go through an agenda item, they typically will flag that so that when you go to access the video, because that'd be quite handy in some of the, like for your 4-hour meeting.
Yeah, thank you. I'm actually the community that I just worked for, Lower Makefield. We had that feature. In fact, what we were able to do, the company would have the agenda available, and so you have public comment, you have treasurer's report, you have whatever, okay, sewers. Whoever accessed that video would merely have to click on what that person was interested in, and so not have to suffer through the first to get to that point. The answer I got was no. They can do certain things, okay, that would be helpful, all right, but I'm not aware of their having available the tagging feature that you're describing.
I'm a little bit surprised because if they actually have physical people here, usually it's something, because I've been at events that have been recorded before, and the person recording it just actually hits, not making a gesture, they hit something on their computer screen that tags it as this stuff.
Yeah, oftentimes you see on the bottom third okay, of the video, there'll be names of the supervisors. We would put on the bottom third what agenda item is being discussed. Okay, so they're able to do those things.
Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud from the standpoint of, not thinking out loud, but if you're going to go to this expense, thing that would make it valuable to citizenry is to
however,
flip ones up.
sorry for interrupting, but I am aware of companies that can do that.
Right.
So we would get the video to them in the correct form. I don't understand all
okay. I know what you're saying.
Okay. I think they can do that for us.
Yeah, so you're saying in the process, the information will be flagged at the bottom, and if you get it to the right company, they can actually then process it. Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I think that would actually make it valuable as opposed to having a 3-hour block on video stream. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, move forward. Public Works.
Excuse me.
month of February, we had 2 plow events, 4 salt events. We had a mix up salt and cinder materials. We did quite a bit of cold patching. The stormwater project on Riverside was, well, it's pretty much complete now. We just have to do the paving. We had the windstorm, we had to close roads, cut up trees and all that stuff on the 25th. And then just a little sidebar, for the 3 storms we had over the weekend, we had 160 man hours in and about 125 tons of material. That doesn't include fixing the truck, and that was just actual plowing and shoveling the walls.
And I just wanted to add to that. I mean, I had the opportunity to spend a small amount of time in the truck, and it's hard work, and it's long hours and long days. So I want to thank our works department for all their hard work in keeping our roads plowed. And our outdoor split at this road, so thank you.
Tom, you spent about $7 grand, I believe, in salt. Over what period of time was that?
That was the 3 storms, Thursday night through Monday morning.
Okay. And so far, we haven't had a particularly difficult winter.
No, we used more material this year because we had more salt events than we did. The plow was we used less material.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good job.
Solicitor, I'll announce the board held an executive session prior to the meeting tonight concerning personnel. Otherwise, my report will be covered by old business. Thank you. Parks and Rec.
Just a few things. I'll table the discussion on the CDS because it's coming up. We have 3 events coming up that we're planning and we finalized this past week. We have our Cedar Hill cleanup, which is in cooperation with Perkiomen Watershed Conservancy on Saturday, April 6th. That is a managed event. We need people to sign up for that, so we are providing equipment and also supervision to the work teams out there, so you do need to know if you are volunteering for that. You can contact anyone in the park committee, give us your name and your email so we can contact you. We are looking for volunteers primarily for Cedar Hill. We are reaching out to the Cedar Hill residents because we'd like them to be involved and help take ownership to clean up their green space. We also have the Easter egg hunt coming up April 20th at 10 a.m. at Coble Park. And we planned our concert in the park, again at Coble Park, for August 22nd, 7 to 9. And our band this year will be AM Radio. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Old business. Update on the CDS plan. Planning Commission. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. So the Planning Commission did not meet in the month of February, although I think that we will probably be meeting in March. Warner is going to come talk to us about trees. We put off that presentation a few times, but now that he's back in the area, sun can. I think it would be a good time to do it. Basically what he's going to be doing is telling us a little bit about what types of trees we should be planting, possible changes to our ordinance so we get the right trees in development, best practices for planting the trees so they actually survive a reasonable amount of time. So the odds and ends and things like that. And this is something that Warren came to us almost a year ago, and it's just gotten delayed and delayed. So I think now is a good time to do that. So I was going to send an email out to the other planning commission members, unless there's a great consternation about not meeting. I think we will probably meet this month. So our meetings, once again, are the 3rd Thursday, so that would be March 21st. And they are at 7:30, which is a change from the way we used to do it. It was at 7 o'clock. We're going to have our Lower Frederick Township Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee meeting, which starts at 6, and will go to 7:30. So Crystal is here, and she's going to give a report on what we did on the steering committee meeting. That's okay.
Good evening. The steering committee is off and running. We've had 2 meetings with the comprehensive plan steering committee, the task force.
We have had small attendance, so I invite you all to join us whenever you can, but those who have joined us have really joined in the conversation, and it's been a very interesting way to get the thing started in terms of how we're going to work through the process and what everybody's expectations are. So again, the comprehensive plan is looking forward to 2040 for our community. We started thinking about how we're going to break things down and have this conversation, and there are 4 categories that we're going to try to group things under. Those categories are village development and community character, transportation and infrastructure, preservation of natural resources, open space, and agricultural preservation, and then financing and paying for infrastructure. So if any of those categories are going to spark your interest, you're curious about how we're going to move forward and do these things together, please come to the next meeting. We'd love you to join the conversation. All this happens under the framework of the Central Perkiomen Regional Planning Commission and our comprehensive plan with them. So we have a logo that's almost finished, so we'll start rolling that out, so we'll get to brand everything with our new logo. You can look for that. We are working towards some vision statements as we go forward, one specifically for the steering committee, and then as we go through the process with the whole community, we'll develop a vision statement for the community for 2040. So stay tuned for that. The next meeting is, like Chuck said, on March 21st. It starts at 6 o'clock. When the Planning Commission has business that they need to address, then we go to 7:30 and the Planning Commission takes off from there. Otherwise, our conversations can go on past 7:30 a little bit. We invite anyone who's interested in thinking about our collective future to come join us at the meetings. If you love where you live, come let us know why and how we can keep it that way. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Old business. Update on the CVS Park ownership. At the prior meeting, the board asked me to look into the ownership of the park because there was some information located that CVS still owned the park. So Carol was kind enough to locate and send out to me some documentation. This included the final plan approval. This dates back to December 2007. Development agreement, which was 101 pages long. And as I reviewed all that, I found that it was intended that the park be dedicated to the township. As happens with these things, once you get final plan approval, you enter into a developer's agreement, there's construction and inspection. At some point, there's an offer of dedication. And indeed, in some of the documentation we saw, there was a January 2010 offer of documentation. However, it was not signed. So it appears the park should have been dedicated, but the issue appeared to remain open. And indeed, those county records show that it appears that CVS is still being taxed for that parcel. So the next step would be to request authority to obtain a title report. And that takes a couple of weeks and several $1,000, usually, sometimes less. In this case, however, we were able to locate, Tom Keenan had a document that he was able to pass on to us. It was the recorded deed of dedication. So, when having reviewed that, it appeared that the park was indeed transferred over to the township via a deed of dedication. That deed was recorded with the county. So we were able to move forward with the park, which is great news. Timing's different, it's great news. We were able to move forward, we don't have to get into the ownership issues. So that goes that way. Good, thank you. And then if I can add one other old business matter. Okay, Pam?
Yeah, I just want to thank the board for their assistance on this and clarification, and we really appreciate the support that we've gotten from everyone. We do have, there's the grant application for the Perkiomen Watershed Conservancy, which I did send to you, Terry. I don't know, I did email it to you. I can send it to you again, but we do need that. That needs to be in by April 2nd.
This is the second letter
No, this is the application. It's a multi-page application for Perkiomen Watershed Conservancy for their grant for rain garden. And I'll resend it to you. You'll get it
very much.
You'll get it tomorrow. because that needs to go in, if we could ask the board would sign that and get that in for us.
What's the deadline on that?
The deadline for submittal is April 2nd, so we need to move on that one. We have an opportunity also to go for a second grant. It won't help us much this year, but there's a DCED grant that's due May 31st. It does not award until like November, but it would give us money for next year to looking forward to funding pieces of it. We'd like to move forward with that as well if we could. And the question there is, you had offered us a letter of commitment prior for the 2040 grant. We're asking if that letter of commitment is still on the table. We could use that toward the match for that grant. It's a 15% match, has to be cash for that particular grant.
In what amount? What would the amount be, 15%?
Well, that's, you know, we could go for 15%, extrapolate it up for whatever amount we could go for. I mean, we're in a situation now where we're going to try to move forward with doing phase 1 of the project. That does compromise the project somewhat because it was designed to go for grants as a whole project. Now we're carving out pieces of it, so it makes it a little less viable. We're trying to, you know, hold it together so that it makes a nice grant application and is likely to get us some money there. But we do need that letter of commitment if we can have it.
No, I'm just asking because I think for us to commit to expending funds, we need to know what that would be. Would that be 15% of 100,000?
I can calculate that out for you and give you a number what we're looking for. I mean, the original offer was for $12,000 for a commitment from the township.
Do you want to request now of the board, or do you want to calculate and then
Well,
go back to the board?
I'm just asking if that is still, that offer is still on the table for us to use.
Was there, the prior offer, was that a written letter?
We did a letter of commitment. It was specifically written, I believe, for the 2040. We probably have to reword it.
It was.
It was.
So did that have a set amount, at least
Yes.
the principal amount?
Well, the offer was $12,000. And we added that on. We also have, for the 2040, we were able to use volunteer hours and donations in kind. So we had our hours in there, we had our grant writing consultant hours in there, we had anticipated hours that we're going to be dedicating to managing the project. And also we do already have an award for AmeriCorps, who's going to be here with a work team for us on April 15th.
Yes.
And we have to be prepared with sod pulled, scarified beds, probably the fence in for them to be able to plant, and we'd have to buy the plants for them to put in. So we're running against the wire here on that as well. So yeah, I guess the question is, you know, can we anticipate any help from the township on this, on helping out with cash flow forward, or
So I'm taking that.
That might be a
as
side
request
conversation.
for an amount of money up to $12,000. If $12,000 or something.
12,000, yes. Just ask if that's still on the table, if that's available to us to use for match.
I think we committed to that earlier, so it's probably still a yes.
We need a motion. If
Did we?
you committed to that in the context of the 2040, right? So let's,
That was for the 2040, and I believe it was written, well, it was obviously written specifically for the 2040. I think we probably have to change the wording. I have to go back and look at it. I can forward that wording to Terry.
So let's do this. Let's articulate it as a motion to authorize expenditure of, or contribution of township funds in the amount of $12,000 as part of a matching grant in favor of the park. So moved.
Sorry, it's just to clarify, so this would be a matching fund for a grant application, or would this be for other things? Just so
Well, if, you know, the way the grants work, we can use it as the match toward the DCED grant. And you want to have, go through the grant before you actually spend the money. And then afterwards, you can actually go ahead and use it toward, we can use it toward other grants and as matched toward other grants as well. This is kind of the
But
way
you
the
need some cash now.
granting process works. we are probably going to need some cash. I mean, I don't want to waste everyone's time here. I did do a cash flow analysis of where we're short as far as on anticipated funding. We're hoping to get a placemaker grant possibly, which will help toward the sign and the plantings in the front as well. We have the PWC grant that we would like to submit, and we also already have the Schuylkill Rivers Restoration Fund grant that has already been submitted. Those both cover a rain garden, and they're very limited in their application, whereas the DCED is similar to the 2040 grant. It's more broad scope. You can apply it to more aspects of the park, not specifically just in the rain garden. So the problem for us is we've applied for funding specifically that's only going to be able to go toward the rain garden, and if we pull the trees, we can do that, but it doesn't help us with that frontage. So we've got a shortfall up front here without any funding for the sign and the fence and the flower beds in the front.
So the money's for specific items as articulated
Yes.
regarding the park.
And
It's not necessarily going to be matched.
No, it will serve as a match, which all of these grants require a certain amount of township contribution in many forms. It could be volunteer hours, it could be cash from the town. So we can say that the township has already contributed $12,000. We have a contribution in labor and some other park budget money. So all of that together we can parse out to use as matching funds for at least 2 to 3 grant applications.
All right, so for your purposes, this is a flat-out contribution of $12,000 that is intended to be used to match. But for now, it's a flat-out contribution.
it's just a kind of analysis of this is the cost of the phase one, the red is the places where we're anticipating to get for the placemat in there. So we have a shortfall, but actually the rain garden, if we get the funding, will be funded pretty well for that. But unfortunately, that's not the major piece we're looking for. So that kind of gives you the idea what the costing is to look at for phase one. What we're looking at there. So puts us in a little bit of a dilemma, but we can't use it. If we go for the DCED fund, that is a required 15% cash match from the township municipality. That's a pretty specific match as opposed to what we've seen in the other applications for the grants.
So I have a question on the status of the placemaker grant and when, I don't know if they have a cycle in which they award grants or when we...
There's no cycle, so long story short, it's written up. I can get set tomorrow.
Okay.
I just need to wait for public confirmation.
Wonderful. Okay, so that could happen soon. Because what's happening is there are all these moving parts and we can't put a budget and plan together unless we know.
Realistically, I should know within a month.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for providing this, because having the documentation of what the money's for and what you can use it for is really helpful for us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so there's a motion, no second yet?
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.